What's going on YouTube? It is Texans Takeover back in another video. In today's video, we just have a traditional 7 round mock draft. Trades are available to us and everything like that. So let's just jump in. There's new rankings 3 days ago, so I'm interested to see how this goes. Steelers go with and I was gonna trade up to 21 to see if that was a possibility, but I guess not. So we'll just stick and pick. Spencer Fauna was there. Oh, that's a bad beat by me. I did not realize he was available. Um, Well, considering that, we kind of just screwed ourselves. Kenyon Sadiq was available too, so was Lee Hunter. Maybe a trade up was the best option there. Considering that, I think we just trade down, and I think you pick this up pretty easily. Um, 36 and 67 for 128, which means we pretty much have back to back picks in the second round. I'll try it. You want this pick? Yeah, I'll give it to you. Raiders move up to 28. We move back to 36. Hopefully, there is someone that's good available to us there, and works out perfectly because Kristen Miller is available to us there at 30. Um, and you got to pull the trigger all day of the week there. Emmanuel Pregnon does go at 37. That's not my concern. I want a Maxi and Atchor either way. Um, Kristen Miller's a dog. You can see younger, but plugs gaps really well, really good in the run game. I know some people aren't as high on him as others. I know some people have him in the mid second round. I know some people have him in the high second round. I have him particularly in the high second round. I really like Lee Hunter as well. I really like Caleb Banks as well. It seems like the Jets keep going with Caleb Banks in these mock drafts. Peter Woods all the way up at 11. Some people have him falling all the way to the second round. Um, but yeah, I really like Christian Miller as a player. I think he'd be excellent for the Texans, and I think if he's available to us at 36, then that's definitely something we should look at. And then at 38, you got to improve the offensive line. Maxi and Atchor's there. He has rare talent with his feet, and I think that's something that the Texans really need to value and consider um, as Blake Miller goes there. But yeah, I just really like Ian Atchor as a player. Pass blocks really well. And is a true right tackle. He's going to slot in perfectly for the Texans team. If he was to come in, I think it's definitely a fit. I think he'd be good here, especially if you want to move Titus inside to guard. It's a lot harder to find a good um, or a good tackle compared to guard. But for the Texans, it seems to be the other way around. It seems like we're fine finding tackles and not guards. So I think you want to move Titus to guard because you know he's capable at that role. Um, so that's why that would be the pick. So you can just move Titus to guard completely. You know he's capable there. Um, and then yeah, that is that. I am going to try to move up 261 with 67, and like 243 would do it. Um, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Please just go through with that. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, we're gonna have to go very slow. We are going to go Chase Basantis here. And now we're going to move up to 61, hopefully, with 67, 243, and a sixth. We'll just do six next year. Late round pick next year, and that one goes through. Of course, the first time trying. Um, because there's a guy on the board that I really like. The Bills do not go with him, and that would be Mr. Jadarian Price. If the Texans don't address running back in free agency, then that's definitely something they need to look at in the draft. And I think if you manipulate the board the way that I did with trading down, but being able to trade up and go get your guys in the second and third, which Casario is really good at drafting in the second and third rounds. Kamari Lassiter, Kalen Bullock, both second and third round picks. Jaden Higgins. Um, who else was there? Ariante Ursary, or Ursay, however you pronounce it, was also a second round pick. So, Casario does his best work in the second and third rounds. Kristen Miller, Ian Atchor, and Basantis are pretty much surefire guys with very high floors in the NFL. And I think they would be instant contributors to the Texans. That do need a lot of help on the offense headed into the offseason. And I think picking up these two guys would be very vital pieces. I think Basantis can play the right guard slot for you. He did play left guard for Texas A&M this past year, one of the best pass protecting guards in this class, um, if not the best, to be honest. I think Ione is probably the best, but Basantis is great as well. Grades aren't as high as what they should be, in my opinion. I think this guy can go in the back half of the first round. I think he can go early in the second round as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if, the Texans are picking up 38 and Basantis is the pick there. I'd be very happy with that. Um, but here at 61, it is Jadarian Price all day of the week. If you don't address running back in free agency, then you certainly have to go look at Jadarian Price. Um, Jeremiah Love's the clear RB1 in this class. I think Jadarian Price should be the RB2. There's talk about Jonah Coleman potentially being the RB2. I wouldn't mind Jonah Coleman here. Pretty much just a freight train back. He's very small, but or like small in terms of height, but very bulky. I really like Jaden Not too as a pass blocker, as a running back. I think this is a guy that can be an RB1 for you. Didn't play for OU. Don't even care about that. DeMarco Murray was just not a good coach for them. Should have played a lot more than he did. You look at this Cal season that he had in 2023, you can see the potential that he does show. Um, and I think a team's going to bank on that potential as well as how good he was at the Senior Bowl. But it is Jadarian Price here all day of the week. And we move to pick 69 as Dominic Orange does go there at 63. It's fine. I really like Josiah Trotter. I really like Jake Slaughter. I think this is going to be a slight trade down from me to pick up somewhere, hopefully, in the 70s and 80s. I mean, that would be perfect. Something like this, I would really love. And we're going to offer it. See if these Steelers are willing to take that. Um, doesn't look like it. No. Okay. So we are going to have to stick and pick here. And Max Clare is available. Maybe we want to go tight end. Haven't gone tight end yet. And maybe you want to wait till down the board till you have like a Tanner Koziel available to you. Maybe you want to go linebacker and you want to go Josiah Trotter, who's an excellent athlete. I think someone that D'Amico would love and someone that I really like as a fit here. And that's really starting to tempt to me the more that I look at it. Maybe you want to go D line and you want to go with like a Darrell Jackson Jr. Because Dominique Orange did just go there. That is why I wanted to trade down to 85. I wanted to go with Darrell Jackson Jr. Malachi Fields all the way down here. I know some people have him as a first round pick. I think this is fair. I like Kyle Lewis. I like Jacob Rodriguez as well. Don't get me wrong. I love the production of a Jacob Rodriguez, excuse me. I think anyone would. But here at 69, I think I am going to end up going with. Um, I actually don't know. I'm really torn. I think the linebackers are pretty deep, but so are the tight ends. I like Torian York. I like Jacob Rodriguez. I like Trey Moore. I think Trey Moore could be a potential edge in the NFL. I like Harold Perkins. Ugh, it's tough. You know what? I haven't done it yet. I am going with Josiah Trotter. I just love the prospect that he is. Um, just a really good run defender, really good in the pass game as well. I think that coverage grade is a little flawed. I think it should be significantly higher than that. You can see he lines up in the slot sometimes, not too often, but um, you know, this is when he's on a mug. Obviously, a mug means that the two linebackers are filling the A gaps. But yeah, he has the ability to line up outside, kind of as a nickel if you need him to. But he's a traditional linebacker, and I think the Texans will certainly value that. We're just going to wait till 106, maybe move down from 106. There are going to be some players there um, that we do miss out on, just like a Keelan Rutledge there, who I think would be excellent for the Texans. Sam Roosh is available to us at 106. I think that's something the Texans should really look at. Did have drop problems at college, which is something you obviously have to consider. But I think we do need a blocking tight end, and he's certainly that. I think Quayos is another really good blocking tight end who can also receive, very similar to a Max Clare in my opinion, just a little bit older. And I think Max Clare has a little bit more upside as a receiver, but still a really good player in there. But I am going to look to move down, and I think that would be perfect. Or, who has really good cap. I mean, if you could pick this up for 106, I'd do that all day of the week. So we are going to trade that to pick up some more draft capital just to give us some flexibility throughout the rest of this draft. Um, and that does go through. I don't think we're going to do any more trades past this point. There goes Jaden Nutt. And here at 139, Nate Borkirkshire is available. I think that's the easiest pick of this draft. One of the better blocking tight ends who does have some receiving upside. Um, I went to a couple Texas A&M games this year. Well, all of them basically. Um, but yeah, he's really good player, really good blocker. And I think he was underutilized in the offensive scheme this year. But again, when they needed to rely on him as a blocker, he was able to come through. So that's going to be my pick there at 139. And then at 144, we might go to the other side of Texas and draft a Michael Teff, who I think is a really good player. Maybe a Jalen Kilgore if you want a safety as well. I think he can definitely fill that safety role. And I am actually going to move up slightly. Maybe pick up like a 159. I think that's fair. Yeah, we'll do this. Or maybe a seventh from next year, just so we don't give up any extra capital. So we move up to 159 for 165 in the next year's seventh, just 7 spots, but you'll see why. I am going to go with Michael Taft though. Um, Actually, no, I'm going to go with Jalen Kilgore. I just really like him as a prospect. I think he is more of a safety in the NFL than anything. So that is going to be my pick here at 144. I think he'll be able to be a playmaker at the safety position. Um, and then at 159, it does work out perfectly because Pat Coogan is available to us. Just one of the best leaders um, in college football, and I think the Texans definitely need to value that. I think they need to look for a true leader. There goes Cole Gill there, who's someone you can consider. But yeah, I think the Texans need to look at a natural born leader. Um, on the offensive line to come in just to set the tone. And you can see how good he was throughout college football. Won Rose Bowl MVP as an offensive lineman. I think he should be, considered higher than this. And I think any team that does get him is going to get a really good guy and a guy that can make an instant impact on the team, whether that's at guard, whether that's at center. It doesn't really matter. He's going to be able to provide it at both for you. Um, and if he's a depth option, he's a really damn good depth piece. Um, been my draft crush for a while, and I think if the Texans were able to get him down the board, they'd be, extremely lucky. And I think this is someone you could consider trading up for if you don't get a Cade Mays, if you don't get a Tyler Linderbaum, if you don't get any of the big name free agents at center, maybe an Elton Jenkins, who the Packers are supposed to cut, which means any team can negotiate with him before, free agency does open up. Then, this is someone you should definitely look at if you're not getting the heck to slaughter Alou, one of the more solidified top guys at that center position. I think Pat Coogan should certainly be up there with them. But if he's available in the fifth, I think that's a no-brainer for you. And that's why I traded up. Here at 205, though, I think you could use some depth on the defensive line. You did go with Christian Miller to begin with, but you can't have enough riches on the defensive line, in my opinion. Maybe you want to go with Max Bredesen, and I think that would be excellent. You do rely on the fullback, and if you need a guy that can block, that's a Max Bredesen, one of my favorite players in college football. And you know what? I'm going with Max Bredesen here. I talked myself into it. I just really like him as a player. Um, I think another guy that sets the tone, similar to a Pat Coogan, if he's there, he's not scared to hit. He's going to hit whoever's in front of him and do his job excellently. And, the Texans do use fullbacks sometimes. Um, Max Bredesen, not a tight end. He is a fullback. I guarantee you that. You can see the height and weight shows he's a fullback. Um, just an excellent, excellent blocker in the pass game and the run game, whatever you need him to do. He's going to get down and dirty for you. He's going to pave the way for your running backs to run through, massive gaps. Um, and just one of my favorite players in college football ever. I'm a Michigan fan. Um, and I think he's a special player at the fullback position. It just sucks that, fullbacks are, out of this day and age because I think he's such a vital piece to a team that does utilize a fullback, and I think he will be to the Texans if they do bring him in. With the last pick in the draft, I think you could look to edge depth. Mason Rieger always rings a bell. Keyshawn James Newby always rings a bell. VJ Payne's also an interesting one. I think he had a really good Senior Bowl. I think you could use defensive line depth, maybe a Brandon Cleveland, maybe a Keyshawn Silver. These are going to be guys fighting for roster spots. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're able to bring someone in that has good production, maybe like an Aiden Hubbard who's got decent size as well, then maybe that's something you look at because he is a very good pass rusher. But maybe an Eric O'Neal is someone that you want to look at, has decent size as well. Decent production too, especially in 2024. Logan Fano, decent production, and also very good size. Mason Rieger, good size as well, and really good production for Wisconsin this past season. Keyshawn James Newby, very good or very good production. Excuse me, not the best size. Going to be a true pass rusher for you. Jackie Marshall, just not the best at anything really. Not someone I would really consider. Aiden Hubbard, someone I consider. Maybe Jack Pyburn. Um, and I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Aiden Hubbard here. I haven't done it yet, so might as well do it now. And Mason Rieger does end up getting drafted as well as Logan Fano, but yeah, I think that can be someone that brings in some depth at the edge position that we certainly need to look at. Um, and we finished the draft off here with we'll see what the grade is. Looks like it's gonna be something decent. We get a B plus. Okay, that's fair. They don't like the Max Bredesen pick and they don't like the Ian Achor pick, but those are two of my favorite picks in this entire thing. So, yeah. Let me know what y'all think about this draft down in the comment section below. If you do like it, please be sure to like, subscribe. Again, me and Stressens just made an app, and we just posted a new update that allows users to, sign our upcoming free agents like an editing room, like a Trent Brown. So please go check that out, HoustonStressens.com. And then it is the cap calculator. That is the app that we did create. It is, an extension of the website there. So go check that out. Go see if you enjoy it or not. And go share your results on Twitter, on Instagram, on anything. And if you at me, I'll be sure to give you my thoughts and opinions as well. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe. A pretty short mock draft compared to the other ones, but I think I got through pretty much the points pretty quickly. So yeah, again, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and as always, it's Texans Takeover, and I'm out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.